Hi everyone, welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined by Dennis. So recently we did a video called really kind of pointing out the best 42-inch built-in refrigerators.
Right.
And we talked a lot about how commonplace that 42-inch size really is in built-in refrigeration and how it's really trended that 42 has really become the new 36 and really kind of become the starting point for people looking at built-in refrigeration. That's kind of the starting point in size. So in that space, there's really kind of like two major players here. There's Sub-Zero and there's Thermador. Today, we want to really compare the 42-inch and the 48-inch French door refrigerators for those brands. And what we mean by that, by French door, is two doors up top where the refrigerator is split with a bottom freezer underneath, a pull-out drawer for the freezer. Now, there's some variations, which we're going to get into, how Sub-Zero and Thermador might be different there. But let's start with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero really has been the pioneer in built-in refrigeration for really since they're the ones that really introduced this category and have been, really bar none, the best, most reliable built-in refrigerator on the market, really bar none. So with them, they've kind of launched a whole new refrigeration line over the last couple of years as well. They've always, not always, but they had that 42-inch French door refrigerator that they enhanced, and then they launched a new 48-inch French door refrigerator that we've seen really take off and has become super popular as well. In general, in that line, what Sub-Zero has done in really all their refrigeration, again, always has been a really great line, but what they did there was enhance it a bit. So they had much better LED lighting on the interior, really phenomenal lighting throughout the cavity of the fridge. They've enhanced some of the trims, just made it really nicer looking. And then a big part is the installation, where they have those compressors up top. They've really kind of shrunk the compressor a little bit and made the reveals really tighter, so you get that much cleaner look when you're installing. So with Sub-Zero, again, other things that they've really always had that they've been known for is air purifier that scrubs the air of ethylene gases as food starts to spoil. So fresher food for a much longer period of time. Really kind of revolutionized the whole dual compressor system, which you see in others there as well. But really, they were kind of like the first separate compressor for the refrigerator, separate compressor for the freezer. Again, refrigerator lasts much longer. Food preservation's much better. So really have been the pioneers in addition to enhancing what they've had. Stylistically, how they do it is just still kind of in their 42 and the 48. You have the split doors up front, and then you get that big kind of one freezer in the bottom, that bottom drawer in the 42 and the 48. So now we talked about kind of competition there. And really to this point, they haven't had much in 42 and 48-inch French doors. Really, they've kind of controlled those categories. So now we're seeing some other brands, primarily Thermador, who's about to come out with their own 42 and 48-inch French door here over the next few months. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, you touch on it, and this is not like an ode to Sub-Zero, but they built the category.
Yeah.
They continue to last forever, and we have, just even with you alone, 50 plus years of service experience with them. So they kind of set the standard. They don't chase really. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else copies them and knocks them off. That's the truth. Now, so Thermador did that. They knocked them off. But they came up with their own some innovation,
yeah.
And they do some things differently. And they've done a good job at it, actually. If there was a knock to them, it's what Sub-Zero does. We talked about that top trim. Mm-hmm. The compressor at the top, therefore pushes the fridge lower, actually more accessible.
Yeah.
It's at your most people's standard height. And the freezer got a little lower. Thermador took a different spin. They took the compressor from up top, put it down below. The fridge got taller and cleaner mm-hmm. looking, but it's very tall to reach inside that Thermador. But they did get a more accessible freezer. It was up taller.
Yeah.
Okay. When they did that, though, some people liked that freezer or not. So I tell you that little bit of history to lead you into what they're about to release, which is a new 42 and 48-inch French door mm-hmm. refrigerator, because Subs kind of set the path. But they're going to do it differently than they've done it to this point, mm-hmm. and certainly differently than Sub has done it.
Yep.
Okay. So what Thermador is going to do is, and this is over the next couple of months, you'll see it, they're going to have in their 42-inch fridge They still keep that compressor at the bottom. So the fridge is up top. They have added another drawer down below, minimally one.
Yep.
Okay. They have a drawer in the middle, and that middle drawer is a convertible drawer. So it can be fridge or freezer. They've introduced two types of ice, a diamond ice or a more chewable ice, I guess you'd say. People kind of equate to that. And then a classic cocktail ice like they've had. Now, so two types of ice. Ice is popular. Ice makers break a lot. So there's a chance one's working. I don't know. But at the very least, you can take, if you like the diamond ice or if you like the cocktail ice, you can take it and if you had a preference to just one style of ice, you can make them produce just one type of ice.
Yeah.
So if you just like the diamond ice or just, it can all be that.
Yeah.
And a convertible top drawer and a freezer below. Now, when they go to the 48-inch, holy smokes. Two drawers up top, two doors up top.
Yeah.
Two drawers in the middle.
Yeah.
Two more drawers below that.
Yeah. So 6 doors.
6 doors.
Yep. Okay.
That's a lot of doors. Sub-Zero in that same layout will have 3. It'll have the classic bottom freezer with the upper 2. So those are drastic changes. Now they changed other things. They added a camera inside the refrigerator. I don't know. Other brands have had it forever. It kind of has come and gone. I actually have a fridge with a camera inside. Never used it in my life. The concept was you could see, if you were at the grocery store, Wi-Fi back into your fridge and see, hey, did I get tomatoes? Do I need tomatoes? I don't know. Hopefully it didn't cost them a lot of money. I don't know that that's a buying decision, but they added that. Yeah. They did add more adjustability in their door bins because they've kind of had a couple iterations of that, which I think was an improvement. They have gallon storage, it's important to note, on their door for gallons of, say, milk, where Sub-Zero does not. But don't be fooled. They're all the same depth here. So you're either going to get a bigger door bin and a smaller fridge space, shelving, or you're going to get bigger shelving and a little smaller door space. But that might be a consideration. But it's also one that if we don't talk about, some people get it and they're frustrated because they're like, wow, we do so many gallons of milk. I didn't think about it and it doesn't have it. Or conversely, no one pointed out, I don't care about the bigger door. I want food, bigger platters and things to fit inside the fridge. So it's just a trade-off. The other thing is, now we'll talk in a second. We have to talk about what does this mean installation-wise? It'll retrofit in the old spot. That's good. So if Thermador, I was thinking it was yesterday, but it's been out now for almost 18 years since the first launch and their first built-in. Sub-Zero's been up well over, I think, almost 150 years. But either way, the point is, been out about 18 years. And in that case, it will retrofit. So if you had an old Thermador, cutout hole, a new one would go in.
So in general, too, I think, sticking with installation, the styles of the refrigerators, like we talked, are a little bit different or very different too, obviously aesthetically and how that looks, but just the installation part of it too. So we talked about Sub-Zero having the compressor up top, Thermador the compressor on the bottom. The other thing to note too is how they install. So with Thermador, you can kind of get that flush integrated look in a 25-inch deep cabinet. Sub-Zero with this style, with their classic kind of built-in series with the compressor up top, you're not going to get that zero clearance, but you can still kind of build it out flush. And a reason for that is because that fridge is actually a little bit deeper than what that Thermador is. So we said Thermador 25-inch deep cabinet that you need to kind of get that integrated flush look. Sub-Zero is going to be closer to 27 to kind of build it out and get a flusher inset look. But you're also getting a little bit more space in the refrigerator because it's going to be a little bit deeper. So when you compare those two, I think size and how they install is definitely something to consider as well. For sure, because they're going to be very different there. And, like you said, aesthetically, some major, major differences. Now, one thing, going back to the aesthetics of it. So we talk about stainless steel a lot and obviously the doors. Take me through paneling those. So now you're a designer, you have to create custom panels for one of these refrigerators. What are some things to consider there?
So it was interesting. Again, we've touched it, but Sub-Zero just refined what it's had with tighter tolerances, smaller, bigger compressor, with their focus saying a more accessible fridge Not a lot of people. I will tell you, if you're not closer to 6 feet, 5'10", you are going to have a very tough time getting to the top.
Yeah.
On a top shelf in a Thermador.
For sure.
It is so tall.
Yeah.
It is so tall. That is not the case with Sub-Zero. So they just they felt like they had the model of more accessible in the fridge, and people buy more fresh food than frozen. So they're going to focus on that bigger classic fridge, tightened up their tolerances, and made that compressor a little cleaner in the install. Great. We say, and I just want to not clean this up, but technically a Sub-Zero, I believe, requires 23 and 3/16 full depth to install that refrigerator. 26 and 3/16, where we said the Thermador requires 25 inches. We tell people when they're doing a Sub-Zero to pull it out to 27 inches because no wall is flat and plumb.
Correct.
So it gives you a little wiggle room there.
Yep.
Assuming you did all that, now let's get back to the real question, which was the design. I am very curious. Thermador did take the time, as they've explained, to try to have all these drawers, because we told it could be up to 6 drawers. So when you think about a Sub-Zero in your kitchen, 3 handles, the 2 for the fridge and the 1 for the freezer, done. In that same space, Thermador would have up to 6. And then now you have all these different lines of where all these doors are. So it is to be determined if people will feel like that's too busy. Is that too much cabinetry? You're gonna pay more for those cabinets because you gotta think about that when you're budgeting this. The costs of the fridge are actually quite similar, really close in price. So but you gotta think of a couple of hidden things that I don't know. This isn't trying to knock Thermador, but now you're making 6 door panels. They're gonna charge you for 6 door panels versus 3.
And
you got more hardware costs. You got more installation costs because now an installer has to put 6 panels on. And those tolerances, if you're doing things like inset cabinets, we know that those reveals have to be spot on.
Yeah.
If you're in New England, things shrink and contract. That's the problem with inset. We sell tons of them. But you have 6 doors with all these lines and handles, you have a lot going on. So the install has to be amazing. You want to make sure you deal with, ideally, an appliance company that actually installs these full time. Not just leave it to anyone or a contractor that is going to be a big job for them. So I don't know all that. I'm curious to see with your side cabinets how all these door handles, how people react to 6 door handles. Now, for anyone that's watching this, they may want to quickly be like, no, Thermador had a push to open door, so maybe you don't need handles. And I just want to tell you, in this new series, they have eliminated push to open. So really what that meant is that design of, hey, a lot of cabinets, as you know, in kitchens are push to open, where there's no handles in that clean aesthetic. That was very clunky for Thermador when they tried that. It was very clunky for Miele when they tried that. Appliance manufacturers have gotten away from push to open. People bump it, they open. You can't open it when you want. It created more frustration, and these are bigger, heavier doors. So you have to have 6 handles. You have to have a lot of. That's a TBD. I mean, listen, it was a bold move by them. I think to continue to try to chase Sub-Zero is futile. Like, I don't think you're going to win that. As good as Thermador has been. So I think to try these different things, convertible drawers, and here's what I don't know. These multi-door things have always been equated, honestly, with Asian appliance companies introduced them. The brand LG, Samsung. Multi-door is a big thing overseas. But I wonder, even in that space, most customers, the multi-door thing didn't take off in those spaces so well. Less is more. They want less drawers, less clunky. Like they didn't feel like they really gained anything. So I'm real curious when people are trying to do this up in this pro market. Now, there's one other player that will just stick in here, which we're not just sticking them in, they're a real brand, but in the built-in space getting some attention is SKS, Signature Kitchen Suites. And they have a 48-inch, very much like the Thermador with 6 doors. And I can tell you, installing that thing is not easy. It's a lot of work. So those are things to consider. So I think, when I think about this category, I would say this. We throw a lot at you in these, and as you're starting your research, you're probably like, wow, what did they say? What was this? What was that? Or you're still like, okay, I still didn't get what's important to me. I think pros and cons, initially, let's talk about the functionally. We'll kind of wrap up how someone would buy it. If you're a purist that wants a bigger fridge, less doors, and you're focused on height of access, I think you got to think about that. And you are less reliant on massive door bins for storage, like gallons of milk and whatnot on the door. Sub-Zero may be the right choice, functionally.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about Thermador and you're somebody that's ice crazy and wants multiple types of ice, you like convertible drawers, the ability to go from fridge or freezer in that top couple of doors. If you like lots of drawers and you feel like that'll make more organization.
Yeah.
If you'd want a Wi-Fi camera, if you want gallon storage on the door, if the height of that top drawer isn't a thing for you, or you just want this simply, you don't like the look of maybe a compressor up top and a cleaner top fridge
integrated
door, that would be functionally a reason to do Thermador of a Sub-Zero. Now, when we get into design and the ultimate costs and buying decisions below that line is think about your cabinet costs. Know that the fridges are going to be very similar, but make sure you're vetting with this new process of up to 6 doors, the costs of cabinetry. It's going to be real.
Yeah.
And then who is going to install this for you? Because I can tell you, we install built-in refrigerators for $99 because we have massive teams that do it and we're certified, and that's 45 custom installers. It's not a few. So that's just kind of, there are people, it's what we pride ourselves in getting it done right the first time. But enough about us. If you're buying these, to do a 3-door unit today, industry standard is anywhere between $800. I'm going to tell you it's close to $1,000 to $1,500 for somebody to install it. Whether that's your contractor, whether that's a third-party appliance install company, if you could find them. They're hard to find, but if you could, that's probably what they're going to charge. And now we're putting 3 more doors on it. Someone's going to charge substantially for that.
Yep.
And then all the tolerances. And if you're somebody with an inset cabinet, you need a good installer here because holy smokes. I know the cabinet folks listening to this are going to resonate real quick. That's a lot of jiggering in a small amount of space.
Definitely.
So I went on about that, but I think those are the considerations there. Aesthetics, and then the hidden costs of hardware. This is not a bad Thermador review or a bad Subwolf issue. It's kind of an exciting thing for us to understand where customers will go because they're both kind of Sub-Zero is still the dominant, but Thermador is still a big player, the second biggest player in that space, and has done quite well. It'll be interesting to see now they're actually really trying to be their own people here.
Yeah, very different aesthetics.
How is that going to play out? It's intriguing to me.
Definitely. And one thing to note too with Sub-Zero is, they have a lot of different options in their refrigeration also. So maybe if you do like those doors and you do like Sub-Zero, they also have a Pro Series in that 48-inch that really kind of more commercial style, exposed hinging, but has kind of the drawers, the 4 drawers on the bottom, similar to the Thermador. No panel ready option, only stainless steel. So you don't worry about kind of all those tolerances and stuff like that. But that's really more kind of pro commercial style too. Some other options.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if you can take that away, not to confuse the issue, but to that end, Sub-Zero has always had, they do have one fridge. What is it, a CL3650? Oh no, the CL36.
The designer series, the integrated, the DT.
So they have an integrated unit that does install more like a Thermador has, where the compressor is down below, a clean upper door with 2 drawers below. And that is not new for them. That's been out 20 years, 18 years. But I will tell you, while it's been out that long, we sell them, of course. But compared to a classic, the style fridges that we're talking about with the freezer on the bottom and the split doors with the exposed compressor up there, and now it outsells their clean version 25-1.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. This was bold by Thermador. This will be a real interesting one to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out pretty soon here. So that's going to do the comparison between Sub-Zero and Thermador for 42 and 48-inch French doors.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for appliance tips and updates from Yale Appliance.
Your feedback is what shapes our series. Like what you saw? Give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Stay informed and inspired on all your appliance needs. This is Appliance Advisors signing off.